assume I have support of my former boss Obasanjo for 2023 presidency. Atiku. Former Vice President and presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has said that he is not sure, but he assumes that former President Olusegun Obasanjo is in support of his presidential ambition. Well, all it remains is an assumption because Obasanjo has not come out to say anything. Atiku, who made the assertion during an exclusive interview with Arise TV on Friday morning, which was monitored by Sahara reporters, said he has been talking with his former boss but has not visited him after his emergence as the PDP presidential candidate. The PDP presidential candidate, who was asked if he needs Obasanjo's support, said, "Why will I not need his support? He was my former boss. Why will I not need his support? Of course I will need his support. I assume I have it." Atiku said that he still holds the former president's legacy in high esteem. On the other hand, Atiku, was speaking on the issue of Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, said he is already reaching out to the governor and that stakeholders of PDP will soon reconcile with the aggrieved Wike. He said Governor Wike is an influential politician who has a good future in Nigerian politics and has contributed so much to the growth of the party, adding that he did not reject Wike as a running mate. Atiku, who noted that people seem not to be fair to him, said, "The committee that was set up at my own instance deliberated. There was no vote and they recommended 3 names because they knew it was my prerogative to choose any one of the 3. So there actually was no vote." It is not true. There have been grievances which generated internal crisis in the party after Atiku picked Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State as his running mate. Commenting on the personality of Governor Okowa and whether he would have still picked former governor of Anambra State, presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, he had not left the PDP. Atiku described Okowa as an intelligent man with wide experience. Okay. From being a vice chairman to a commissioner, then to senator and now a governor, on Peter Obi, Atiku said, "Well, he did not even consult me before joining Labour Party. I think it was 3 days after he announced his joining of the Labour Party that he informed me." Is he required to inform you? I mean, at the end of the day, you were all on equal grounds. If you bought the presidential form, you bought the presidential form. Of course, you all bought the presidential form. So there is no one higher than the other because you were all in the same level, meaning you were in the same party and you were competing for the same position. I don't think he had to tell you. Maybe he was strategic in predicting that maybe his chances of becoming the presidential candidate of the APC was very much skewed because there was nothing. He planned it. Going back to what Atiku assumes, again, it remains an assumption. If Obasanjo has not come out to expressly say that his vote or his preference or his support goes out to Atiku, if Obasanjo, again, has not come out to say it, it is not fact. If anything, Obasanjo has actually confirmed support for Peter Obi rather than Atiku. So it doesn't prove anything. That interview was actually released this morning. I advise you go watch it because it seems very unfair. I mean, to be honest, you might as well just say Peter Obi of Labour Party, Atiku of PDP, and Tinubu, because in terms of doing media rounds and proving character and proving legitimacy of their candidacy, if I will put it, only Peter Obi has been able to do that to a very large extent by showing his character or even just being himself, really, and making us do the work and research on him as to why we even want him in the first place. And then we have Atiku Abubakar, who for a period when things were intense, where Peter Obi was rising in influence and he also got Tinubu, Atiku was in Dubai for whatever reason. Everyone might have just assumed that he was on holiday relaxing, but it for Nigerians, it sort of showed the commitment the commitment levels of each. So you could see that for Peter Obi, from my analysis, he's not trying to convince anybody. He's there. He says he's the man for the job. He then puts the assignment and the homework on his supporters to justify to themselves why they would pick him. He says, look at what I've done. You go do the research for yourself. And then you've got Atiku, who was not even in the country at some point, and only until now he is actually granting interviews. And well, this interview was actually an hour long, so you can see, it was pretty much extensive. And you have APC Tinubu, who makes comments here and there, those that support him, I mean, even those that endorse the party, for example, Portable, it's not, it gives desperation, really. Because again, I mean, we're not saying that PDP hasn't spent money, but if we really want to talk about efficiency and talk about the ideal situation, they probably just all want to be in Peter Obi's situation right now, because with the support that Peter Obi has, you can say that APC spent far more money and more resources trying to get, or in attempting to get, that same level of, widespread relevance, to be honest. And for a long time, the relevance of PDP and APC was pretty much on the basis of comparison with Peter Obi. So it wasn't as if both parties were doing anything, all eyes on Peter Obi. Then it just seemed as if PDP and APC became side characters. And then the conversations that, were very much relevant at the time, even till now, to a large extent, is really comparison, to be honest. I mean, you can say that both parties have had a fair chance of trying to prove themselves when they got into power and being the ruling party, and they've just not done a good job. So, but then even at that, they still do have their followers and have their fans. It's funny because APCs, or, even PDP, whoever, anyone that is not in support of Peter Obi would always talk about structure. And right now, who has the most formidable structure? Because we see with the APC, I mean, it's chaos. People, well, not just people, but major stakeholders you hear are resigning at every second. I mean, you hear this one resigns and rumors of this one resigning. It's, it's shaky, right? And then you have the PDP, where everyone was pretty much surprised with Okoa becoming or being chosen as the vice presidential candidate, when everyone thought it would be Wike. And you know what? It's funny how they phrased Wike, the aggrieved Wike, because it seems like the man was very much heartbroken. And that's just what it is. So again, right now, what is happening is people are having to choose sides, and not just in a political level, even in when it comes to the people themselves and who they want to vote for. You would find that it is now the time to pick sides, and whoever you choose, or whatever party you choose to represent, if you don't have solid grounds as to why you do, then you would be seen in a certain way, and I don't think anyone wants that. These elections will be very interesting. Put your comments in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.